Today's video is going up a little late.
But why?
Because by the time I was free enough to put together today's video, I had two choices.
What are they?
A. Make a video of inferior quality simply to avoid a punishment. Or B. Take the time to put together a higher quality video even though I'd miss the deadline and receive a punishment. I went with B because, well, Noodles, I love you.
Shiver me timbers, Stefan. It's Monday, September 1st. This morning I weighed 175 pounds, and you should grab an eye patch and stick a parrot on your shoulder because we're about to plunder some booty. Today's topic is piracy. Arr! Piracy. What is it? Piracy is just a hook-handed way to say copyright infringement. Well, okay, so what's copyright infringement? To understand that, we must first ask, what is copyright? Copyright was originally conceived in England as a method to restrict printing. It eventually evolved into a tool that allowed authors to control and profit from their work. The vast majority of jurisdictions on planet Earth enforce some sort of copyright protection for authors. Most jurisdictions also have some sort of restriction in place on copyright, allowing for what's called fair use. I'll talk more about fair use on Wednesday. The copyright holder of a work generally has a number of rights. The right to make copies of that work, the right to be credited for that work, the right to determine who may adapt that work into other forms, the right to determine who may perform that work, and among others, the right to determine who may benefit financially from that work. So with that understanding, we can now define copyright infringement. Copyright infringement is where the infringer infringes upon one or more of the copyright holder's rights. For example, if you were to burn a copy of the Britney Spears album Oops, I Did It Again, you would be committing copyright infringement since, as you are not the copyright holder, you do not have the right to make copies of that copyrighted work. There are different types of copyright infringement. Sometimes it deals with music, such as the illegal downloading of MP3s. Sometimes it involves movies, such as the illegal downloading of movies over the internet, or what's called camming, wherein someone sneaks a video camera into a movie theater. Copyright infringement can involve pictures, or even text. If you copy something I wrote on my MySpace, I can sue you. Piracy has been a long-standing issue here on YouTube. Every time you upload a video to the internet that contains copyrighted music, you're creating another copy of that music that you did not have the right to create in the first place. Thus, copyright infringement. There are many people who believe that current copyright law is a bunch of There's a concept called anti-copyright, which is the opposition to prevalent copyright law. Proponents of anti-copyright argue that copyright has never been of net benefit to society. It only enriches a select few at the expense of creativity. Historically, humans have always copied, mashed up, and shared knowledge. It's only in recent history that major restrictions have been placed on such things. And I am among those that feel that copyright law needs to be majorly rethought. Especially in this age of new media, it seems to me that the current copyright law only seems to stifle creativity while lining the pockets of the major record labels. The people who currently run the world grew up a long time ago, when things were a lot different, and it is my hope that as those people retire and die off, people from my generation, with much more open minds and support for creativity, will take their places and instigate change in a way that will be beneficial for art and humanity as a whole. Stefan, I think it would be interesting for either Tuesday's or Thursday's video to talk about the Pirate Bay, how they came about, what they stand for, and how they fit into this big picture of copyright and copyright infringement. Now let's take a second to talk about punishments. I have to admit, Noodles, that I was a bit disappointed with your suggestions for Stefan's punishment. As such, Stefan, I have devised a punishment of my own for you. On the date that you choose to complete your punishment, you will do your entire video in song. Now, as this video is a bit late, it's time for me to get punished again. You guys already know that I was unimpressed with your suggestions for Stefan, and I thought the last punishment I got assigned was a bit wimpy. So I say, let me have it. Give me all you've got. Now, while we're on the subject of assigning punishments, Stefan, I have a question for you. The other day, I sent you a video on YouTube, using YouTube's send video function, which is not textual communication. You replied to me with a message. Unless I'm mistaken, that's textual communication, sir. I expect you to explain yourself in your next video. If this is indeed what I think it is, you'll have to open yourself up to some punishment suggestions. Now it's time to choose the flavor packet of the week. I'm doing the same thing as last week, but next week I promise I'll be more creative. Stefan, I will see you tomorrow.